In today's video, we are going to take this headlight out of our brand new 2,000 mile 2020 Duramax High Country, and well, we are going to cut it open. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Yes, you heard correct. We are going to be cutting open a brandy spanking new, extremely expensive set of headlights off of our 2020 High Country Duramax, which is sitting right there behind me in complete pieces and rendered pretty much completely useless at this point in time because over the past few videos, we have been tearing it down. All the trim pieces are off and are going to be headed to paint later in today's video. And then all of the suspension components have been removed up front in the rear. Trailer hitch was taken off, and differential cover have been stored over here. Bushings and ball joints pressed out, prepping for powder coat. This build is going to be unlike any other build that we've ever done on this YouTube channel. We've had only but I think about, I don't know, 12 to 15 trucks flow through this channel. But this one right here is taking on an entirely new build style. I can't wait to show you guys where this thing's going to be going and to basically continue on that build journey. Today, we're going to be doing our first set of headlights ever. And when I say first set of headlights, I mean we are going to be cutting them open to prep the bezels for paint. I would say we are pretty much a mostly exclusive, all in-house kind of do-it-yourself style shop, and well, we want to bring all of you guys along in that process. We're actually still working on kind of moving in. We just got this new awesome table, and we've had this cool little mechanics tool cart that we really haven't ever used, so we need to get some things kind of categorized and, well, stationed in place. This table is going to be going over here. This table is our small interim table, but you can see for projects like this, we are kind of running out of room a little bit, so this table is going to be headed over here maybe later in today's video, but that's not what we're here to talk about, boys and girls. Today we are going to talk about the process of building headlights. So if you are in the truck space or maybe even in the car space, wherever it is that your interests lie, you guys know that building headlights is kind of like this protected topic, and there's really not all that much information on it, but it isn't actually as scary as some make it up to be. It's a rather simple process. Now, before this video and the research that I've done, I was actually super nervous about building a set of headlights myself until I found a specific YouTube channel by the name of Flyride. Chris at Flyride has this awesome archive documentary series all about building headlights. I had gotten to the point where I gathered enough information where I could kind of piece together the proper approach or strategy, but I actually never saw physical video evidence or maybe even written evidence of what I was theorizing as the right approach until Chris's videos. These approaches came down to two things. It was dealing with permaseal headlights. Permaseal is a brutal substance that doesn't really like to be worked with or manipulated. Permaseal is intended to be ultimately permanent. The automakers use it so that way they never run into any headlight issues down the road, because we've all seen fogged over headlight lenses and we all hate fogged over headlight lenses or any moisture inside the actual headlights. It creates a very, very nauseating headache that nobody really wants to deal with. Headlights actually used to be sealed by what's called butyl. It's like a rubberized type of material that when heated becomes very malleable and you can kind of work it. But the new style headlights are permaseal, and that kind of creates a big barrier of how to actually get these things opened up so you can actually customize the interior to really kind of take your ride to the next level. So the traditional approach with butyl is to take simple hand tools and actually get inside the channel and literally just start prying. You can see these little clips here. You would heat these up, you throw them in the oven for, I don't know, about 10-15 minutes at 200 degrees. And then you just kind of sit here and pry. And with some assistance from a buddy, you would just be able to eventually, maybe through a few heat cycles, actually get the whole lens separated from the channel and the backing of the headlight. But in today's space with the permaseal, that is basically impossible. Still doable, but very, very, very difficult. Take it from me, because I've tried, and it is not easy by any means. So I was told that we could actually cut these things open, and at first I was like, man, that is crazy. So I hit the internet and I found that you can actually cut these headlights open, and I was kind of thrown off by it, but after watching Chris's videos from Flyride, it all made sense. So what I encourage that you guys do after you watch this video, check out Chris's YouTube channel in the description below. He actually builds headlights, but now he's actually taking it to a new level where he's offering training classes, some of which are free, for the at-homer to do it themselves. He's trying to teach you how to build your own headlights so that way you don't have to pay a crazy premium for somebody else to do it, or if maybe you're just like a general tinkerer and you kind of like to take on new projects, that might be the resource for you. So check that out in the description below. So what we've prepared here is the before and the after. This one we've already actually taken the liberty to cut open so we can kind of just do a side-by-side comparison as to what we're going to be doing with this headlight in today's video. You can see here we have the lens removed and we have all of the bezels out. We've actually already taken out our amber side marker. We've taken out one of the daytime running light housings. We have this upper part of the housing removed, and these are basically ready to go into paint. We'll talk a little bit later about the direction that we're going to be going for the subscribers to this YouTube channel, but really we want to focus today's process on actually prepping this headlight and then, no joke, taking this oscillating blade to this headlight that is easily over $1,000. Actually, let's price check that real quick. Quick little fact check on that. List price $1,275 on this GM Parts Direct, $830. So if we looked at that list price, we would be looking at $2,500 of headlights that we're going to be cutting open today. So here's a quick rundown of some simple tools you guys are going to need for this project. We're pretty privy to Milwaukee Tools. We have their little 12-volt oscillating tool. That's what we'll use to cut it open. A small little drill, Torx, Allens, or screws to actually hold in some of the lenses and the bezels. Prying method, a little simple screwdriver. And these are pretty cool reverse pliers. These are good for separating the actual lens from the backing and the bezel, etc. In terms of resealing, we have this Permatex black silicone. This was highly recommended from our main man Chris at Flyride for resealing the actual headlight. Now we'll talk about that a little bit once we get these all cut open, but it's actually a pretty simple process. Stay tuned, guys. I think you're going to be pretty surprised. So to begin, we are going to take off anything that's bolted to the exterior. Right up here on the top, these 2020 headlights is this small little rubber grommet, double-sided taped on, so we'll just try and peel that off. If the tape stays on, it's really not the end of the world. All right, guys, so every headlight is different, and this is actually our second set that we've ever done. We kind of tested this approach on an old set of headlights that we took off of what will be our 1,000 horsepower Cummins build. But what you'll want to do is you'll want to follow a line closely between the clear and the actual black part of the housing. You can see here that this headlight actually has 6 screws. It's got 2 here, and then 2 down here. And I actually thought initially that these were anchors to hold this lens on, but as a matter of fact, this bezel inside is actually held to the lens via those screws. So those actually aren't going to anchor this thing once we get it cut open. But every headlight is different. What we like to do is we like to get kind of like right in this general area. What we're gonna do is we're gonna stencil a line straight up and across, out and over, kind of down in this general area, out and around. We'll follow it down here, down and across, kind of up in this open area here, and then back around. It doesn't have to be exactly a specific distance from the actual black part of the backing. It really doesn't matter, as a matter of fact. As long as you kind of maintain a consistent distance, you'll be fine, but it doesn't have to be like crazy rocket science. I mean, we are cutting things here, but that's kind of what we found, and that's what we're gonna do today. All right, boys and girls, without further ado, let's get this surgery started. Ear protection definitely recommended, but today wasn't used. Kind of regret that. All right, guys, so here we have a $1,275 headlight that's pretty much rendered useless in the eyes of most, but not today, ladies and gentlemen. This is the exciting and pretty rewarding part of this entire journey, because if you muster up the courage to do this and you do it right, use a few of the tools, and you're pretty much home free, whether you want to customize your light, paint it, install new LEDs in it, change lenses, what have you. Now we get to use one of my favorite tools in this process, these reverse pliers. These things are pretty cool, pretty cheap on Amazon. Just look up reverse direction pliers and you'll be able to find these. Find a nice little spot, introduce some leverage, kind of just work it a little bit. You don't want to use too much prying force here. You want to make sure that your cuts are all the way through. Like right here, I don't think we actually made a clean cut. I don't know if that can come through on camera or not. Right in this little area here, we'll want to go back and just touch that up. rather not cut too deep the first time than go too deep and damage something. So we'll get these cool little things in here, kind of just pry around. There we go. It was right here. We didn't cut through all the way, but if you look closely, you can actually see that the top of the bezel inside the headlight is just below this clear lens. So we were super shallow with our cutting blade, but that was good because we didn't damage any of the bezel. Now, mind you guys, when you install this headlight, all this area is covered up by fenders and grills and other trim pieces, so you're not actually going to see it. That's what I was looking for. Bada bing, bada boom, ladies and gentlemen. We just opened up a treasure chest here. It's not often that most people can say that they can actually see this perspective of their headlights, but guys, good job. If you made it this far and you're doing it yourself, you've definitely mustered up a lot of confidence because getting to this point, a little unsettling. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna wanna go through this channel and get all of the melted plastic and basically shavings out of the headlight. Air tools are good for this. We'll show you guys a little bit of that process a little later in the video, but for now, we're just gonna set this thing aside and work on kind of our main subject here, which is the actual lens. So the intent, guys, is we wanna do something custom with the inner bezel. We wanna ultimately get this all removed so we can do stuff with it. There's your LED strip for the high countries. Love that feature on these headlights, it's awesome. This whole top bezel comes out, and then this one right here. Bada bing, bada boom, ladies and gentlemen. We're home free. Boom! So here's your inner bezel on the 2020 headlight. It's actually a pretty badass piece. They have some like carbon fiber looking texture here. I think I'm gonna leave that for when we paint this. But we are ultimately going to dress this up with some masking tape, and I think we're gonna knock out some of the black areas here, probably paint that to color match the truck. And then on the upper bezel here, we're probably gonna do the same with kind of the black areas. We're gonna color match those. I don't think we're gonna do anything with the lenses. I did consider masking off basically just the fascia of this lens and then painting the sides. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet though, because this whole lens looks really good from the factory when they're on, and I don't know if I would want to cover any of that up. Considering doing the same thing with this upper daytime running light, but then again, I really like the way that they look. We do have this clear lens. This is where the turn signal is, and then to complete our build, we're actually going to be deleting the amber, and we went out and bought Pliers lenses with a K, K-L-E-R-Z, I believe is how they spell their name, and basically we bought these for like 50 bucks. Ultimately, we're just going to install that right here. So on the back side of these things, you can see that a lot of this stuff is either clipped on or glued on. Like this lens is actually glued on. You can kind of see that right here. This one on the bottom is glued, but up top is clipped, and then it's got these little clips right here. So this will kind of just pop right out. And what we'll want to do is actually probably remove as much of this as we can for Sean at Peach Bottom to basically just mask off what he needs so he can come in here and just paint right over these things. Bada bing, bada boom. You can see right there, that's where it actually has glue. So that's kind of unavoidable. I don't know if you heat that up, if you'll make it any better, but the tab is still there. So we'll just be able to clip this thing back in, throw a little dab of glue on there, and it'll be good as new. But this will look pretty badass, guys. Check this out. That'll kind of sit in that general vicinity there. It's gonna look way better. All that work just for this one piece right here. No, I'm just kidding. We're taking it a step further. See you, dude. So to clean up these edges, guys, there's probably a few different ways you can do it. Today, we're just gonna use a Dremel. I'm gonna put a fresh little sanding bit on it here and get it ready to rock. So guys, basically all we're gonna do is we're just gonna run right along this edge on both the inside and the outside of the lens, probably low speed, just to get some of this plastic off. You could probably sit here and pick all this off with your hands, but it's pretty hard. Some of it melts because of the friction from the oscillator. Gentlemen, all the sanding has been complete. We did really like the Dremel tool for that. We also have these interesting little butyl removal channel tools, also linked from our main man Flyride. We got these two recommendations from him. These things are awesome. They actually have a little razor blade on the end, so we were able to get into some of the kind of the nooks and crannies, but clean this edge up really, really nice. The sanding tracks that are kind of like right in this area, that's not a big deal at all. As I had mentioned, when we reseal this, you're not gonna be able to see any of that. We're gonna create a really nice channel that basically goes all out and around this entire area. We're gonna clamp it together with your simple like Irwin clamps, and then we're gonna let it cure, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. Like a big little opening right here. that's not actually the end of the world, because when we clamp this together and seat it and then seal it, let it cure, it'll be legitimately good as new. All right, guys, so at this point, we've got our headlights prepped and ready to rock and roll to head down for paint, but there's another step that we want to do. These headlights in the 2020 High Country are really chrome, like really Euro chrome style, and we're gonna kind of take it to the next level and customize our fog lights. But first, we have to take these things out real quick. Wow, look at that. All right, guys, so these are the projector fog lights off the 2020 High Country Duramax. They're actually really sick that they come from the factory with projectors, but they're not really sick because they're like 100% chrome, and they look really cheap. Although they feel really solid quality, they have the HID and everything like that, they just kind of look cheap. So we have some ideas in mind to make these look considerably better, but same deal. These are Permatex closed, and we're gonna cut them open. So yeah, let's get it started. All right, guys, so here we go. We got a lens off, we got a fog light bezel removed, and man, these things are really interesting, actually. So the fog light bezel isn't secured to the actual fog light housing by anything other than 3 little clips that have teeth on them. And then, of course, they went the extra mile, you know, General Motors being over-engineered, and they put Permaseal on either tooth. These things are so frail. There's not much to them. You can't really pry on them. On our first set, we used a little pick and we got in here and kind of disrupted it in the channel, which are these little things right here, 1, 2, 3. But then we decided that if we got a razor blade in there and just kind of cut quickly across, it would efficiently disrupt that Permaseal so we could actually get this bezel out. So we got to clean up these channels and everything like that. So it's been a long one at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, so that's where I'm gonna wrap this one up. We have literally less than a week and a half left for Dream Diesel giveaway number 10, which is a 2017 Ford Platinum Powerstroke with every option under the sun that you could ever imagine, from a panorama sunroof to Sony Sync sound system to massaging seats and everything in between. Plus, we're putting $10,000 on top. So if you guys are waiting for the last minute to get entered, you're getting down to the wire. Procrastination Nation, I see you guys. And you could be the one taking that truck home right there behind me. Also, be on the lookout for Doors Off Supply Company's big giveaway announcement. We did make our first post on Instagram. We haven't done too much more there yet. We've got a lot of awesome content that's coming behind the scenes that will go public very, very soon, as well as a full-blown website, which is kind of in the works and we will be releasing soon. I'm not gonna talk too much about Doors Off Supply Company on this channel unless you guys want me to, but I'll wait for all of your feedback on that. I love you guys as always. I appreciate the support. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see y'all in the next video.
Tell me, why do I still feel so alone?